Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PapaJugg Podcast. This week is all about some very strange and unfortunate happenings, and specifically tonight's big chat. Tonight, it's 12 noon on a Saturday. The big chat for this episode is going to be about AI and dead celebrities, because I had a thought about that.
Party people, how you feeling?
What's going on, everybody? I hope you are having a wonderful weekend or a great start to your week if you are listening to the audio of this on a Monday morning. Welcome back to the PapaJugg Podcast. Today we've got a lot. This is probably one of the longest show agendas that I've ever had. I think we've got seven total topics, which makes it tied for the longest I've ever had. And a lot of these, I think, are issues, stuff that we've got to kind of figure out where we fall. Like what is our position? What is our opinion on these things? Because so many of them shape what can come next. What could be the future? What might be the possibilities? We have those things to figure out. And we're going to get into quite a few of them. First, I want to point out something that I didn't originally have on my agenda, and it is Star Citizen related. So the first thing is that there have been a lot of media posts lately about the new Star Citizen Legatus pack, Legatus, Legatus. It's from the Roman, or Latin, I guess, from the Roman. It's from the Latin. Roman Empire, Latin, all of that. So anyways, Legatus 2953, it is a $48,000 game package. No joke. $48,000 to play a video game. Now, that's not all it does. The media misleads. The media is there was one, and I think it was, I don't think it was a media outlet. I think it was just a YouTuber who had an opinion and wanted some clickbait. But there was a thumbnail on YouTube. This ship costs $48,000. No, it was a picture of one ship. Not one ship does not cost $48,000. No ship in the game costs more than, I don't want to say 1,200. Not that that's any better, but still. So here's the deal. This is a great example. It's a lesson for all of us as readers, as listeners, as viewers, as audience members, whatever you want to call it. The media is using a moment and they're twisting it. They're intentionally misrepresenting it for the most part. There are some media outlets who have just been very honest, just be like, hey, there's a game that has a $48,000 DLC kind of thing. But for the most part, the media has completely twisted it. And there are sites that are so good at this, and we've stopped caring because we're used to the abuse. It's not $48,000 to play the game Star Citizen. It's not $48,000 to get access to it. It's not $48,000 that you have to spend. It's $48,000 for somebody who literally wants to buy every single vehicle. You get every ground vehicle and every spaceship in the game. There's no denying that everything in Star Citizen is stupidly expensive. Okay, this is how they fund the game. The game development. This is how they're funding game development for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen and their engine. Remember, they're building an engine for this thing. So it's not just it's not like Rockstar selling, GTA 6 for $80 or $90 or $100, whatever it's going to be. They're developing all of these things from scratch. But that being said, a lot of the media is misrepresenting. A lot of the media is clickbaiting their headlines and their thumbnails. A lot of the media is saying that this is more than it is. I'm here to tell you it's not. Nobody has to spend $48,000 on this one pack. The number of people who do, I bet you, is going to be very small. The other thing to remember is that you don't have to spend $48,000 new dollars on it. There are people playing Star Citizen who have spent more than 50 grand. Okay. Over the years, or maybe yesterday, I don't know. They have spent more than $50,000 buying ships and armor and clothing and tools and ground vehicle and whatever. They've bought it all. That's fine. What they could do is if over the year, they're like, you know what, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this, I bought that. Maybe what I want to do, if I've spent my 50 grand and I have everything, or I've spent 60 grand and I have everything, or I've spent whatever it is, what they can do is literally refund all of that. Refund's the wrong way. You can't refund. If you give money to CIG, they have it. They can turn it all in. Okay. They can recycle it. They can be like, you know what? Take everything I bought back. Give me my whatever, 60 grand, 50 grand, whatever it is in store credit. And now I'm going to get everything again for only 48 grand. So I'm going to have like, 2,000 or 12,000 or whatever it is in credit. And for future things, maybe I'll just buy those with credit. Whatever. Don't believe the media bullshit about this. It's 48 grand if you want to buy every vehicle in the game. 100% true. Nobody has to buy it. A handful of people will buy it. And the rest of us will sit there going, wow, you're weird. Like literally you could have sent somebody to college instead of spending that 50 grand. But that's just me. I'm just saying. Let's get into tonight's show. What we are talking about tonight. Again, I keep saying tonight because it's a habit. This is 12 o'clock noon on a Saturday afternoon. So I whatever. Forget it. If I say tonight, just pretend you're listening at nighttime and you're relaxing your way to bed. What are we talking about in this episode? Episode 27 of the PapaJugg Podcast. We are talking about all of the massive tech layoffs. I knew that this has been a thing. You guys have heard me report on these periodically throughout the duration of the show. The show's now 27 episodes in. Periodically, we talk about big layoffs or studio closures or things like that. It's so much worse than I realized, and I want to talk about that in this episode. CES 2024, we're going to be talking about that. What are some of the cool pieces of tech that have come out of CES 2024? Honestly, I wasn't expecting a ton. There wasn't a ton, but there was some cool stuff, so we'll talk about that. Audacy, you may have no idea who Audacy is, and that wouldn't surprise me. Audacy is like the number 2 radio station owner in the United States. They also have a massive podcast network that used to be called radio.com. I don't remember maybe it is still called radio.com. I actually forgot to look that up. Is it radio.com? It's a podcast network. We're going to be talking about that company for very sad reasons. Well, very self-deserved reasons, but whatever. Let's see. We're going to be talking about the Stanley Cup craze. No, that has nothing to do with hockey. So we're going to be talking about that. X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, as the media says. X, formerly known as Twitter. We're going to be talking about a statement made by Elon Musk, probably almost guaranteed as a response to Mr. Beast. And then we're also going to be talking about the Boeing. How about Boeing? We're going to be talking about the Boeing 737 and the little tiny mishap it had 16,000 feet in the air. Whoopsie. If you've ever wondered how to rip shirts off, apparently you just get in a Boeing 737. And finally, we are going to be talking about artificial intelligence, George Carlin, and what do we do with the dead? Whole cultural commentary there. I'm sure half of you are going to hate me because you're going to be like, Jug, you're an idiot. But that's fine. That's the whole point of the show. So, let's move right along into that. Let's go. Topic number 1. We are going to be talking about, on screen, if you're looking at the screen says Amazon. We're actually talking about pretty much every big tech firm in the world. We're talking about Amazon. We're talking about Meta. We're talking about Google. We're talking about Twitch. We're talking about them all. Why are we talking about them? Because they have all laid off. What I didn't realize, I hadn't kept up with the number, but apparently they've laid off near or slightly more than 300,000 people in the last year. That blew me away. I was like, oh, wow, okay, there's 500 jobs gone. And I was like, wait a minute. How big is the number? 300,000 people. That is staggeringly high. I mean, it's not like, economic depression high, but it's staggeringly high. These are people that probably had good paying jobs. Most of them, some people didn't, but most of them had decent paying jobs, benefits, and they had a resume at them that said, I worked for insert big tech company here, whatever, So oh, John, we're going to get there, buddy. I'm sorry. There was a comment in chat that just made me laugh. I love live chat during this show. So I wanted to read you some numbers because, again, this just, oh man. Okay. So if you guys missed it, like throughout 2023, all of these big tech firms kept saying the same thing: efficiency. Like that was their vibe after the pandemic, sort of, whatever, quote unquote, after a pandemic is. I do think, by the way, if for the pandemic, for like the COVID-19 pandemic, I think that is just going to become part of our cold and flu season. I think it's just going to be a regular thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is another virus. We have to deal with the cold virus. We have to deal with the flu viruses, and we have to deal with the COVID-19 viruses, although they're mutating a lot. So it's kind of like the flu. I mean, it's almost identical in that it's like, okay, what flu strain do we get this year? Who the hell knows? Anyways, so 2023, all these big tech firms were all about efficiency. They were all going about, we need to be more efficient. We need to deliver on reduced, whatever, who cares? So that was their big thing. But I guess they were laying off buttloads of people. Okay. I'm going to quote this here. After laying off more than 262,000 employees in 2023, tech leaders have continued into the new year with more cuts. Alphabet, which is the company that owns Google. Okay. Google is one part of the company. There's many other divisions of Alphabet. They basically did that for stock reasons. Alphabet is reportedly laying off hundreds of employees from its Google Assistant division and all of its hardware teams, including the Fitbit team. The company laid off 12,000 people in January of last year. Quote, they cited, quote, changes to become more efficient. See, there we go, more efficient. Amazon is also cutting hundreds of jobs, with several divisions being slashed in size. Amazon-owned streaming site Twitch is eliminating more than 500 roles, or 35% of its workforce. I've talked about this. I mean, I put this stuff in my Discord. I put this stuff in the Rise Above Team Discord. But about 35% of Amazon is losing its job yesterday for the most part. I think it was all, no, I'm sorry. If they were in the Americas, they were laid off, I think, Wednesday. And then other regions will be notified, I think, no later than yesterday, which was Friday the 12th. So 35% of Twitch is now gone. And I saw a fascinating article that, wow, Kick could hire all these people. Okay, let's explore that for a second. First of all, could they? Sure. Eddie seems to have no problem shelling out millions of dollars to do stupid things. Great. He's a billionaire. I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm simply saying he is wasting money. So he could hire most of these people and like, great, you're coming aboard Kick. The problem is Kick is now repeating, if that happened, which it hasn't. I haven't seen anything from Kick saying that they're going to do that. But if it did, it would be a repeat of all the mistakes of the past. They would literally be growing too big, too fast, and have staff they don't need. And they're going to end up going belly up. It's the same problem with paying one guy, paying XQC, one guy $70 million for a contract. How long is it going to take you to get that back? Your split is 95-5. I mean, there's details about the contract. Obviously, some of us don't know. But to get $70 to $100 million back from one dude, bro, that's... okay, like if that's where you want to spend your money, sure, but XQC isn't bringing a whole bunch of viewers to view other people. They'll just sit there and watch XQC. By the way, your top category is still, gambling and COD and bathing suits. Like, it's not really helping you. I've said this now, and I'm going to keep using this. I've said this like 2 weeks ago. Kick seems to be the destination for people who are either on an apology tour or need to go on an apology tour. But whatever. So I don't think that Kick is going to be picking up a massive amount of these 500 plus people. Do they need to hire some? Sure. I mean, yeah, Kick can grow. Absolutely, Kick can grow. Kick may be understaffed right now, but it's not 500 people understaffed. It's not 1/3 of Twitch understaffed. Like, I think we can agree. And I will say it's really disappointing as somebody who just went through Twitch's customer service department. That sucked. That was god awful. I literally told them I had one problem. I was like, your feature called Easy Animate is messing up my graphics. I upload a file, your easy animate process is pixelating and distorting it. Not like, oh, it's lost some resolution. No. It's breaking the graphic. Like, it doesn't work. You're doing that. So can I, like, is this a known problem? Do I just need to not use it? Or is there a fix for this? Like, do I need to change file? Like, you tell me. Twitch said, oh, to upload animated GIFs, do the following. I was like, no. I'm not using your animated GIF function. I'm using Easy Animate. Those are two different things. I'm only using Easy Animate. The reply I got was, to use our animated GIF feature, upload the file. I was like, you're quoting your website. Stop it. I'm not sure where the confusion is. I've asked about Easy Animate. Anyways, I'm on a tangent. I'm going to shut up. Okay. So these companies have laid off a shit ton of people. I'm back on topic now. Good for me. So they're doing all of that. They're also firing 5% of the Audible division. If you guys know, Audible is part of Amazon. Audible is their audiobooks and other audio products, but audiobooks for the most part. 5% of that division is gone. They're also going to be firing people from the Prime Video division, and they're firing people from the MGM Studios team. Wow. So it's not just Twitch. Twitch got the brunt of it, but it's not just Twitch. A lot of things at Amazon are getting right-sized for efficiency, as they say. Discord has announced 17% of its staff is getting fired. 17%. I did not know this, and maybe this is just my ignorance. I don't know if anybody else knew this. Discord has never made money. It's like Twitch. It's not a profitable company. That was a shock to me. I had no idea. I thought it was like, you're charging for everything. Like, look, we have an animation, $5. It's like, look, you can change the color of your avatar, $5. And I was like, fuck, you're microtransactioning this platform to shit. I don't care. I don't buy any of it, but whatever. I have Nitro, and I'm like, I'm happy with Nitro. Life will go on. But anyways, yeah, Discord CEO Jason Citron also announced a 17% layoff in staff in an internal memo on Thursday. I literally had to add this to the agenda. Citron lamented that the company had become less efficient in how it operated, per a note sent to employees. It's all about the efficiency, folks. So that was interesting. Let's see. Data from online tracker layoffs.fyi suggests that 35 tech companies have already laid off 5,586 employees this year alone, and today is the 13th. This article came out on the 11th, which means in 11 days, major tech companies had fired 5,500 people already. That's harsh. And by the way, that does not include, oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Where was the other one? Yeah. Amazon's most recent figures. This was kind of stunning. Amazon has currently 1.5 million employees. Damn. That's a lot of people. 1.5 million employees work at Amazon. Google has over 182,000. Like that. Ooh, it's a lot of people. Let's see. What else do we get? Meta is laying off, I think, I don't want to screw up the number, but Meta has laid off people. Duolingo just fired people. Like massive layoffs in these companies, and they're all basically saying the same thing. We don't have the need for this much staff. They all came out of the pandemic like, let's hire everybody. And it was like, yeah, but the audience hasn't changed that much. Like, chill out. You hired people you didn't need to hire. And now, apparently like 300,000 people are jobless in a year. It sucks. So for everybody that did get laid off, you certainly have our sympathies. We hope you land somewhere that will respect what you do and who you are, because that's what you should find at any job. People that value your talents, people that value your time, and people that value your contribution to what they do. So we hope good things for you. I'm sure everybody that is listening or watching has been laid off at some point in their career, and we all know what it feels like. Misery may not love company, but it certainly invites it, and that sucks. All right, our next topic, CES 2024. Did anybody watch? Did anybody attend? I recently had a chance to be on a podcast with DePoets, somebody you can find all across social media. They do tons of tech stuff. Honestly, I am blown away by how much content is created by DePoets. and it's high quality content. It's not just, it's not like me where I'm just pushing a go live button. I'm like, hey, I've got a phone and haha. No, it is not that. DePoets puts out high quality content, lighting and positioning and backgrounds and all this shit. And I was like, dude, GG's, buddy. 07s to you because you did a great job. But anyway, so CES 2024, if you went, congratulations. I've heard it's fun. I have family who was presenting there. I've got friends that attended. I've got friends that they attended as both, visitors, and then many who also attended as exhibitors. Fun show. I would love to go one day. I have never made the time, but I should. I really, really should. Anyway, so CES 2024. I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of CES. Cool show, fun stuff, but sometimes it's a lot of evolutions and not revolutions. Sometimes it's a lot of adding a number to a series of crap. It's just like, oh, it's the iPhone 43. It's like, nobody cared about the iPhone 40 to 42. Just shut up. So I was pleasantly surprised. I made a list. I found some cool stuff. And so I'm going to go through this list. I'm actually going to bring up the browser for you, for those of you who are watching live. Hang on one second. Boop. There we go. So this is the first one. Okay. The first thing that I really thought was interesting was the Samsung S95. First of all, this one from ZDNet, this was their choice for the best TV. There's now an entire category, which, good and bad. There's an entire category for TVs over 100-inch. I still remember when TVs were literal boxes, literally like giant squares or rectangles, just huge, boxy, deep things with tubes. And there is now an entire category of QLEDs that are over 100 inches. Folding TVs, which I've never seen. I've never seen a folding TV in my life, so I don't know how that's a category. And then 8K projectors. I saw a really cool 8K projector at TwitchCon. Really, really beautiful stuff. I think the projection category has some room to grow because you can put it anywhere. It's really fucking convenient. They're just expensive. But anyways, so the Samsung S95D, it won for best TV from ZDNet. What I thought was interesting about this, it's glare free. That's cool. They tested it by doing, I'll show you a bigger picture. Boop. There you go. They tested this thing by doing high intensity flashes from cameras. And they're like, great, let's measure this and let's, analyze, do we see a glare? They didn't. Bright ass media camera flashes, big old DSLR, nothing. They saw no glare. And I was like, that's impressive. Because I go to my in-laws' house and their TV is opposite one of the back doors to their home. The light, if you're sitting at the wrong angle, you can't see what's on TV because of the glare. This is a giant ass TV that is, 95 inches or whatever the hell it is. You can't see glare. The part that I loved, it will likely cost around $2,500 until it gets discounted. I'm like, if you're spending $2,500 on a television, I hope you use it for good reason. So yeah. Ooh, we're going to get to those in a minute. Hold on. This is also the ZDNet list. The best laptop was the Lenovo ThinkBook Plus Gen 5 Hybrid. Literally a laptop until you disconnect the two parts, and now you have an Android tablet. This is like the best of both worlds for me. This is ideal because this is all about give me the functionality of my phone when I want it on a tablet, which is great. I love Android phones. But then if I'm on a laptop, make it Windows based. Android based, products are garbage if it's not a mobile device. Microsoft failed at phone making. So like the two worlds have never really come together effectively as far as I've ever seen. So this is kind of hey, if you want a tablet, pop it off. You've got yourself an Android powered tablet. If you want yourself a laptop, connect them together again. And now you've got Microsoft powered. I'm like, yes, this is great. So I think this is cool. I'm glad ZDNet picked this as a winner. It is a 14-inch OLED screen. It does detach from the keyboard itself, and then it automatically pops over to the Android operating system. Love it. Great job. Thank you, somebody, for thinking of that. GG's. So this is weird. So they had two categories that I think overlap. They had the best AI device, which was called the Time Kettle X1 Interpreter Hub. I think this is where we get a lot closer to the universal translator in Star Trek. Just remember, if you saw it in Star Trek, it will eventually become a thing. Gene Roddenberry had to be from the future because he knew all of this. Visionary guy. So anyways, it is a real-time translation in up to 40 languages with nearly no latency and high accuracy. That's amazing. We're getting close to universal translator. Very, very happy about this. And I'm glad people are working on this. I think this is another one of those technologies where we can bring humans together so that they're not divided by odd, basically geographical limitations like language. Bridge those gaps. And I think it could also, if it does what I think it does, it could also help people learn languages faster through a version of self-induced immersion. I think that's a pretty cool way to use these pieces of technology. If I want to know, hey, time kettle, how do I say, may I have a cup of tea in Spanish? I don't know why you would say that in Spanish. That would be a British or a Russian thing or something. In Hindi, how do I say, may I have a cup of tea in Hindi? It can immediately tell me with, proper phrasing and grammar and all that. It can properly tell me how to say that. Now I'm learning. And that's basically a form of immersion because I would assume, give that to me at speech speed and not at teacher speed. So I think that's pretty cool too. So I like to see this. But where I see this being an overlap, nope, that's not it. I'll get back to that in a minute. Nope, that's not it. I'll get back to that in a minute. Nope, that's what John was asking about. I'll get back. Here we go. The rabbit. The rabbit is what people have been talking about. Like the R1. I saw so much comments about this. Everybody was talking about the rabbit R1. I was like, okay, cool. So here's the description. What if AI assistants could do more than just give you the best search results and leave you to do the rest? What if they could cook? What if they could book an Airbnb for you, shop groceries online and check out, or start a return for that impulsive Black Friday purchase? That's what the folks at Rabbit are touting with the R1, its new $199 pocket device that operates on a large action model. Made in partnership with Teenage Engineering, the R1 may be the first of many AI hardware releases in 2024. The ball is now in the court of the world's biggest tech giants to deliver superior voice assistant experiences to match the capabilities of what Rabbit has come up with. Cool, $200, but this is like AI innovation. Like, where do you draw the line in that? I don't think this is terribly innovative. I think this is just combining services. It's literally, this is an evolution of multiple things coming together. So if you bring all of the tech that already existed, Rabbit just put it in one device. Cool. I don't object to that. But to say it's innovative, I think is where they kind of lost me. And then you do have something that, again, is evolutionary, which is the interpreter hub. There have been other AI interpreters. This sounds like it's one of the more advanced ones. I didn't experience it. Somebody else did. But you can do something very, very cool with it. So I think there's some overlap here, and I think they need to change how that happens in terms of what are they judging on? How did they come up with this? And then also, how do you separate them? It's easy to combine things into categories. It's harder, I think, to separate them. Because you could say, well, AI should be a category or AI is a category, but then there's a difference between, but what about AI for display, like visual things, and then AI for text-based things? Those are two very different AI models. To AI render something is different from AI reading something. So that one I think has got to be sorted out in the world of tech, but they'll figure it out. Hello, Bloodtide. Hello, Nocturna. Skynet. No, not Skynet. Shh. No, this is the Universal Transit. Anyways, so next thing. I loved this because MSI is doing some fascinating things. I kind of wrote off MSI as just another hardware manufacturer. I never really saw a lot of innovation coming out of them. I never saw a lot of, how do I put this? I never saw a lot of unique design. I never saw something that was like, oh man, AI, MSI is the company I want to watch. There was never anything that really grabbed attention. They were just making hardware. Well, this is a fascinating one. The MSI Claw, rated by ZDNet as the best gaming device to get announced at CES 2024. The Taiwanese computer maker's first gaming handheld impresses with the latest Intel Core Ultra processor for AI enhancements to performance and gaming, a more ergonomic design with plenty of ventilation because it used to get a little hot. USB-C Thunderbolt support for external monitor use. So I think that's pretty cool. You can connect your portable little thing over to a big screen, have fun with it. The LCD display falls short, of course, because it's garbage. But the gaming potential of the handheld should be more than compensate for it. It will start at $699 and arrive later this year. I'm never going to buy this. This thing doesn't interest me. But I do like seeing that MSI is coming up with these new products for themselves. And so it kind of caught my attention because from the hardware side of things, there's an entire channel, there's an entire category, there's an entire section of the PJParty Discord for hardware. You know, people can ask setup questions. People can ask tech, like, you know, what should I get? Like recommendations. People can ask for live chat, you know, like, hey, could somebody watch me while I build my PC? Because I'm terrible at it. Like, that would be me, you know, so like people can do that in the Discord, and I'm learning more and more about MSI. And then I see them coming out with stuff like this and showing it off at CES. And I'm like, okay, all right, MSI, I'm starting to appreciate your reputation. You build good stuff. A lot of the people that in the Discord are called hardware heroes. These hardware heroes are recommending MSI products like, you know, motherboards and things like that. They're like, no, you want to get the MSI version. So I thought this was cool. This is kind of a personal one, but I thought that this was really interesting because MSI is developing more and more high quality pieces. They're also Taiwanese, not Chinese. I don't mind, you know, people from any country, but I do mind governments. And I'm not a fan of the Chinese government. So the less I have to do with China, the better. So this is a Taiwanese company, and I have no problem. By the way, the Taiwanese just finished their elections. The let's call him the anti-China candidate won the presidency. So it is the third consecutive win for that political party. Not friends of China. That means they're friends of mine. Yay. Sorry. Taiwanese news. So cool for MSI. Let's move on. The Mini Tails Smart Dog Collar. This is on the ZDNet list. Sorry, that's the picture right there. There's the gaming device. So that was cool. But let's go to the dog collar, which is this thing right here. I think this is absolutely dumbass stupid. There is nothing interesting about this to me. And I'm a dog guy. Like, this is such a dumb use of $275 a year. It costs $99 available. I'm just like, okay, all of this tech exists. There's nothing cool about this. All of it exists. Also, let's point out what this does. This is a fitness tracker for dogs. It's a collar with a locator. So it's got a, like if your dog gets away, cool. But that technology has existed for like 20 years, not special. But it also tracks the health of your dog. At least that's what it claims it does. I don't buy it. Human health trackers have been hit or miss. You telling me a thing that has to read through dog fur suddenly is accurate? Shut up. There is no way it's accurate. This is the fucking me. Okay. Your dog's heart health, activity, appetite. Stop it. Your stupid little pet gimmick, which the pet industry is massive with dumb ideas, but it sells because people do shit for their animals. It says it tracks their appetite. No, it doesn't. Please put a translator in this. Tell me what my dog says. Magic. This is so dumb. Anyways, here we go. So to John's point earlier, the hologram technology coming out of CES was definitely cool and it had nothing to do with dogs. HoloConnect HoloBox, the best innovation overall. Tough title, but I'm going to roll with it because it's interesting. The HoloConnect HoloBox. What you are literally looking at on screen. This picture, can I make this picture bigger? Hold on, I got to make pictures bigger. Oh, I can't make it bigger. Good job, ZDNet, great media. Can't make the picture bigger. You're literally looking at what is basically a hologram projection of a phone call. This is what we've seen in Star Wars. This is what we've seen in Star Trek. You can now make phone calls via hologram. I think this is cool. It's far in the future for all of humanity. Nobody can afford this thing yet. But I think it's interesting. So I'm going to read this to you. It makes it possible to talk to someone via hologram with near zero latency. That was the part that caught me. Like, live streams on Twitch have latency. YouTube has latency. But you're telling me this thing doesn't and it's projecting a hologram? Sign me up for that. It's a plug and play system. All you need to do is plug it in and connect it to the internet to get started. To be a hologram yourself, you need a white background, the opposite of what's behind me. You need a white background that is well lit, and then you can carry on like it's a regular video call. It's already available for consumer use, and we even saw Google use the HoloBox to showcase its Android characters in fun and innovative ways at CES. The price is not disclosed, of course, but interested customers can request a pricing list. Fair warning, if you have to request the pricing, you probably can't afford it. Just saying. It's very expensive, and most people aren't going to want to put this phone booth size box in their living room, but the idea of it, I would. I don't know about the rest of you. I 100% would if this was an affordable piece of tech, if it wasn't me like showing off, like, look at the box I have. Oh my God. If this was an affordable piece of tech, I would absolutely dedicate 20 square feet of my living room to something this cool. This is amazing. I'm so stoked. Okay. But that's it. Literally, I mean, you're watching somebody being projected into a hollow box, and then you can do the same thing and you get to have hologram calls. Why make this affordable? No. No. Guess it's like VTubing IRL. Kind of. Except, see, Nocturna, you took me in a whole different direction. See that, but now you need overlays to make it look like a VTuber model, because VTuber models are not realistic. I'm picturing this is more now like Ready Player One, where we're now adding enhancements, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's keep going, shall we? The best TV innovation, 115-inch QD mini LED TV. First of all, if your television is 115 inches, nowhere in the description shall you use the phrase mini. I don't care what technology it's based on. I don't care what parts it has. Nothing gets to get called mini if it's 115 inches. Okay? Just there's a rule. I have made it. Live with it. Best TV innovation. I don't think this is the best TV innovation. But it is 115 inches. So let's learn about it. Blah, 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 blah. Samsung even unveiled an 8K project. I don't care. Where's the product? Shit, I lost my marker. There we go. TCL had an answer to that at CES with the announcement of its 115-inch the mini LED TV. We were highly impressed with the picture quality of this QLED display in a private demo. It's an extension of their QM8 series, which is really high, really, really nice. Others are yeah, 5,000 nits of brightness, 20,000 local dimming zones to drive dynamic range. Literally, that's like your whites and your blacks. How bright and how dark can you make something? It is really interesting technology, the way that we are looking at how image is projected and how clear it is, because typically that's lost in brightness. You can have very vivid quality in color, but it gets lost in terms of the lighting behind the color, or the lighting in the color, or the lighting reflected by the color. So like the way that tech is working is really, really cool. Pricing wasn't announced, but it will likely cost around $20,000, and it will be available at Best Buy. Interesting. I love that they threw that into Best Buy. Like, yeah, it's going to be available at Best Buy. Anywhere else? No. That makes it an ultra premium purchase. No shit. But if you have the space and the budget, then you can now get a projector level quality screen size with the benefits of the latest advances in QLED picture quality. Okay, maybe, whatever. This is the rabbit. This is the thing that does everything. I don't, it's also ugly. Like that, I think that's my other problem with it. The rabbit is ugly. It looks like an old Game Boy. Like I don't know how else to be nice about it. It looks like an old Game Boy, and I'm just like, no, stop. I appreciate that you've made really cool tech on the inside, but you like clearly you need a Steve Jobs. And look, I understand. I have not the popular opinion. Thousands and thousands of people are going to go buy this thing. That's fine. To me, it looks like a Game Boy. I think we need to hold our standards higher, but whatever. The Sony XR headset. This was pretty cool. This is the last one on the list. Sony XR headset, best VR and AR innovation, which, by the way, if you don't know whether to call it virtual reality or augmented reality, or if it does both, you call it XR. Just, it's called XR because it encompasses all the realities. Could be real, could be augmented, could be virtual. We don't know, we don't care. Just play and buy. So that's what this is. So yes, Sony gave this really cool thing. It looks, in my opinion, ridiculous. Okay, that's a picture. I can make this one bigger. Can I? Yes, look, there it is. So this is the new Sony VR AR headset, aka XR. I think it looks dumb. I think the Meta Quest looks better than this thing. Now, I'm not judging its tech. The tech behind it is amazing, and I'll get to that. But I wanted to show you guys the picture. I think it looks stupid. It looks just so cheap plastic-y. I don't know. There's something about it. It bugs me. It just, yeah, like Ready Player One. Yeah. Anyways, so the Ready Player One comment was for something else. But anyways, so that's it. So let's talk about what this is. Okay, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. So Siemens is doing the tech part of it, and the Sony is doing the design part of it, and they've combined their capabilities. The headset has the oomph to compete with the Apple Vision Pro, which I wasn't impressed with either. It's not aimed at a general consumer audience, but is focused directly on professionals, engineers, and designers to help them accelerate product development and create spatial content experiences that could ultimately run on Vision Pro, Meta Quest, and other headsets and smart glasses. That is a cool thing about those virtual verses, basically is you've got these really artificial but really interesting and immersive environments that you can get into and do things. In the metaverse, there's apps where you can go and literally do design. Like you can do 3D graphic design. You can do all these things. This is what that's for, is to empower that ability, because I still believe, and it's kind of on the tipping point right now. Just ask Mark Zuckerberg, who spent way too much money on it. I'm not sure about the viability of the metaverse long-term, but I think at this point it still could live. It's a place like Ready Player One where people are going to spend time to interact with others at a distance, to experiment with new tools and capabilities. It's going to be sort of simulated surgeries. I think that's where the tech can go. And this is designed to further enable that, which I think is cool. I like that. Okay. So the product will have the potential to save a lot of time and resources for companies in flying people around the globe or shipping prototypes. They'll do this by creating digital twins in virtual spaces such as Siemens NX Immersive Designer. Sony won't sell the headset as a standalone device, but it will be bundled with the Siemens platform and other software packages for specific industries. That will include an entertainment industry bundle that Sony wants to use to empower the next generation of digital storytellers to build immersive 3D experiences. I don't disagree with any of that. I think all of that is the cool capability. I just wish it didn't look so goofy. Literally, Sony designs cool stuff, and I don't see this being a cool design. But whatever, it is what it is, and I'm glad they're making it. I guess that's as excited as I get. I'm reading a comment from chat. DreamWorks announced they are working on movie immersion like in Ready Player One. 100%. Many of the big studios are working on how to create these 3D movie environments. They're looking at this as the next potential immersive storytelling capability, in that we can get one person in their house or 50 people in a theater, and we can give them these 3D experiences where not only can they be part of the movie, or can they watch the movie, but they could be part of it. I know there's at least two studios, and I wish I could remember their name, because they should get credit for at least trying to think of it. They're trying to create movies that you are in. You become the cast. Kind of like a Pixar choose your own adventure. There's companies working on this kind of stuff, and I think it's great that they're doing it. And that's what these headsets can help evolve. So I'm excited about the tech. I'm glad that it won innovative awards. Design award, I think they need to go back to the drawing board, because to me, it looks RoboCop-esque. I think that's just because of the metal gray. So anyways, let's keep going. Let's talk about, because this is going to be a long show. What's next? Next, Audacy. For those of you who don't know, I talked about this at the beginning of the episode. Audacy is the number 2 radio station owner in the United States. They also own a massive podcast network. Shortly at the beginning of the 21st century, a lot of the old school radio companies decided that they needed to be digital, and they need to learn what digital things were. Otherwise, they were going to go broke. I was actually part of that. So I've worked in the marketing world for over 20 years. I was actually part of the testing audience for Audacy's. Oh, how do I put this? Well, I'll just say, so I don't violate any NDAs. I'll just say that I helped test one of their digital products, and I pointed out to them that they were terrible. It was old tech. It was ridiculous. They needed to be more innovative, and it turns out they weren't. So they have just declared bankruptcy. The interesting thing about this is that it will not impact any of their station operations. They're not selling any stations to do this. They negotiated the bankruptcy with most of their creditors. So it's not a huge deal. The reason I bring it up is because they are $1.9 billion in debt. They were able to negotiate that with their creditors. The court is expected to approve the bankruptcy, but this was all because they bought CBS Radio. They made a gigantic purchase that they couldn't afford, and they leveraged themselves into oblivion for it. And now, yeah, they couldn't do it, so they had to declare bankruptcy. Some people are going to get screwed on their money. I'm pretty sure of that. Some people that Audacy owes money to are not going to be getting it because it gets wiped out in a bankruptcy. But most of their creditors will, But I think that the reason I bring it up today, this is another example of how really old, not innovative companies. And Audacy, I will tell you, Audacy is not an innovative company. iHeart is not an innovative company. Okay. There are innovative people in those companies, but the companies themselves, their cultures, their practices, their histories do not enable them to be innovative. And this is just another example of how that sort of bites people in the ass. I mean, the old media companies need to change drastically if they want to survive. Most of the newspaper companies are dead. Radio companies are struggling because they're trying to become podcasters and they don't understand the audience. At least I don't think they understand it as well as they should. And now Audacy is 1.9 billion in debt. Revenues are declining, by the way. It's not like, hey, we have the money, but we need to declare bankruptcy to be safer. No, they don't have the money. They are losing money day in and day out on their radio products because fewer people are advertising. Not fewer people listening, but fewer people advertising. Their listening habits have changed. So I don't think that transition has been easy for these radio companies. And again, if you live in the United States, you almost certainly have an Audacy station in your market. I would almost guarantee it. That station's not going away. They're not laying off tons of people because of the bankruptcy. If they lay off people, that's a whole different problem. But I think that these media companies, they need to catch up. They need to stop basically playing defense all the time and being basically reflective and sort of, reactive to stuff. They're like, oh, there's a change. We should figure that out and try to be that. No. You need to lead change. You're billion-dollar corporations. You need to lead the change, and you're just not doing it. You haven't innovated anything in probably 50 years. So that's not good because you kind of have to be a tech company right now. You can't be a broadcaster. That's not enough. It's also way more legally litigious, and it's stupid. But anyway, so yeah, Audacy is bankrupt, $1.9 billion, and they try to be podcasters too, and it doesn't work. Up next, Stanley Cup. Holy shit. I was slightly misinformed by this. And I do research for this show before I come and speak with all of you. I learned, okay? I thought that this Stanley Cup thing, I thought that this blew up because of the car fire. If you guys don't know, the Stanley Cup, not the hockey thing, this is made by the tool company, Stanley. They make, hardware products for electricians and stuff like that. Stanley is a century-old company. But they also make these consumer-facing products, and one of them has been these drinking cups. What do they call them? Quenchers. They call them quenchers. I thought that this viral went crazy. This craze went viral because there was a car fire. A woman's car caught fire, and the only thing I don't know how real it was. The only thing that survived was this cup, and the ice in it was still cold when they found it. Like there was still ice in the cup, despite the fact that the car caught fire. So that went viral. Like everybody's like, oh my God, I want that cup. And it's like, hold on. Your concern after a fire is the status of your cup? The fuck is wrong with you? But no, apparently that's not it. These are the same cups. I didn't realize this. These are the same cups that Starbucks has had these partnerships with. Starbucks has made these things. The guy who is doing all of this marketing is the same guy from Crocs. He's the guy who made Crocs famous. He left Crocs and now he works at Stanley. The guy is a marketing genius. He started using influencers. He changed the look of the products. Like he was like, look, this is how we're going to make Stanley go viral. And but they're great products. I don't want to make it sound like that this is just because of a car fire or just because of influencers. Stanley has made great products. And now with this guy's help, they've got these partnerships with Starbucks. They do limited quantity runs. So they've got the rarity thing. They've got pretty colors that people love to have. And it's a quality product. As a marketer, I must tell you, you can only put lipstick on a pig for so long before people realize it's a pig. Don't have a pig. Put lipstick on a really cool thing. I don't know what the cool version of a pig would be. A lion? I don't fucking know. Whatever. So it's a good product. And that's key, because eventually people would be like, I don't care how viral it is. I don't want garbage. Cool product, well designed, well made, attractive in appearance, and also rare. Also $45 fucking dollars. These things are not cheap. Like if I get a thermos, $20, it's literally padding around a wall. Like it's just meant to keep things cold and hot. $20, I'll buy it. $45 for a handheld come on. But it doesn't matter. Check this out. In 2019, Stanley's revenue, the company, Stanley's revenue was 17 million. No, 75 million. Sorry, I knew the numbers. $75 million. Last year, 750 million. Woo, yippee. Good job. But these things are crazy. I don't participate in this kind of stuff. You're not going to find me standing in line at a Target right now to try to grab one of these things from a psycho mom. Okay. There are also stories. And again, for all the parents out there, you better teach your kids. There are stories of especially little girls, but guys, not so much. This isn't really a guy thing. This is definitely a girl thing. Little girls are coming home from school crying because they don't have official Stanley cups. And all the bougie bitch girls at their school are like, that's not real. That's not a real one. Like, you're poor. If that's what your kid does, you need to take care of your kid. Okay? If your kid is judging other kids based on the label on their shit, your kid has the problem and so do you. And I got no problem saying that, because that is what causes so many mental traumas in childhood, is the friend who judges us for stuff that isn't our fault. It is not 9-year-old little Susie's fault that her parents don't have $45 to spend on a thermos. Sorry, thermos. I know this isn't your, I don't know if you license your tech to these people, but whatever. A mug. Teach your kids. Nobody should be coming home from school crying because their parents couldn't afford or didn't choose to spend $45 on a cup. So let's fix that part of our culture. Let's address that before we worry about how many of these get bought. There's plenty of moms out there who are running around showing off their $45 thermoses. Sorry, Stanley quenchers. But their little girls don't have them, and the little girls are getting bullied at school. Let's address what we value, because the thing on the screen shouldn't be it. I don't mind them making money. I don't give two shits that Stanley makes money from it. I don't care that people like it. I think that's all fine. Let's make sure that our social priorities are in order, because we're punishing preteens for not having bougie crap. Okay? Stop it. Happy subjects. Nope. Sorry. I was wrong. Air crashes. Nope. Sorry. I think we've all now heard the story. Boeing 737, operated by Alaska Airlines, took off from Portland, Oregon, and was headed to my neck of the woods in Southern California. It's a city called Ontario, California. It's way over that way. Boeing 737. The door plug came off the plane at 16,000 feet. It's not a long flight, by the way. If you're not familiar with the distance from Portland to California, probably a 2-hour flight, not that crazy, maybe 2.5. And it's a really easy flight. Anyways, they got up to about 16,000 feet. The door came off. Gone. The change in pressure at 16,000 feet is so drastic, it ripped a kid's shirt off. Gone. That's how scary this is. And if you've ever wondered, if you've been on a plane and you've ever wondered, will those masks really come out when it depressures? Yes, it will. That mask will drop and you will need to suck oxygen because you ain't getting any. It's in that bag. Put it on. Door came out. It was found in the backyard of a teacher in Oregon. Okay. They got it to 16,000 feet. Door came out. They turned around and went back to Portland, Oregon. They landed the plane. Nobody was seriously injured. Nobody died. Nobody got sucked out of the plane. Just the door plug. The door plug, for those who don't know, a door plug on a plane is when you have a door area that isn't used as an exit or an entrance. It's literally got that shape. You could take this out if you wanted to. Don't know why you would, but you could. It's a door plug. It's secured. I'm going to use that term loosely in regards to this flight. It's secured by 4 plugs or 4 bolts, padding, and tape. It's like it's straps. There's insulation, and there's 4 big bolts that are supposed to hold this thing in place. The National Transportation Safety Board discovered the door in the teacher's backyard. They went to go find it. There were no bolts. The holes had never been used. Literally, this door was held in by packing and straps. Now, the strange thing, here's what I was really curious about, and I can't wait to see the NTSB report on this. The interesting thing about this plane, the door had not been bolted on. How that got missed in a QA inspection, I couldn't explain. It baffles my mind. These planes are so meticulously looked over, I don't know how that got missed. But let's move on. So it was held on by straps and packing. Fine. The bolts had not been screwed in. Fine. All of this is interesting. This plane had been in use since November. This plane had been in use since November. How did the door stay on for 2 months? I mean, literally, was this just like hope and prayer? Was this just like, okay, today maybe? Gone. Blew my mind when I read that. I saw that from the NTSB statement and I was like, nuh-uh. You had an unbolted door on a plane for 2 months at 30,000 feet every day, flying around in crazy pressures, and it never came off. I think we need to fire the bolt people and give a raise to the strap people. That seems clearly those straps were doing a hell of a job. Bolts, not so much. Straps, great job. I was just amazed by that. I am very, very thankful that all of this happened and nobody got seriously injured. There were some injuries on the plane because, especially the kid whose shirt got ripped off. I guess there were some cuts and bruises and stuff like that. But bro, part of a door gone, just got ripped off the plane. And the most we have is cuts and bruises. I'm happy. I'm happy for humans. Good job. We like to hear it. Okay. Let's keep going. Jesus. I still can't imagine a door falling off at 16,000. Anyways. Okay. Let's talk about X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, Elon Musk, and Mr. Beast. First of all, Elon Musk is a racist. Let's address that and move on now. Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast kicked Elon Musk to the curb, which I love. Like, clearly, those two guys are not on the same economic brackets. They're way up there, but Elon Musk, richest man on planet. Mr. Beast, maybe richest YouTuber on planet. Whatever, close. So Mr. Beast is posting videos to YouTube all the time and doing interesting things as a creator, and great. He promotes them on X. He'll be like, hey, go watch my YouTube video. And he puts that on X. Elon Musk responded to him one day and said, why don't you upload your videos here? And Mr. Beast was blunt and honest, and I think professional about it, but still, he gave an honest answer. And he said, basically, I'm going to paraphrase this, because it cost me more money to make the video than you could ever pay me for people watching it. He basically said something along the lines of, it cost me millions of dollars to make these videos and I would never get my money back on X. It's that simple. The audience isn't there. The pay isn't there. There's there's a lot of problems to prevent creators from doing major, long form content releases on X. Could you do it? Yes. I see another problem. The fiscal problem Mr. Beast is 100% correct for. Guy's name is Jimmy Donaldson, by the way. So Mr. Beast is correct about the fiscal side of it. The other problem that I see is that X's tech isn't there. You got to remember, not only did Elon Musk fire a shit ton of engineers and product developers when he came into X, formerly Twitter, not only did all of those people no longer work there, okay, but all of the Twitter spaces and all of those things that they've tried to do with video have all been failures. Every time he tries to do one of these things, it's terrible. Don't forget, Republican presidential candidate here in the United States, Ron DeSantis, tried to launch his presidential campaign on Twitter. It failed. Not his campaign, that's failing. That's a different problem. But DeSantis's announcement on Twitter was a failure. It didn't work. Audiences couldn't watch for long periods of time. The quality of the video was garbage. They would lose connection. It was a disaster. And then literally Elon Musk goes from something like that to something like, hey, Mr. Beast, with your hundreds of millions of views, could you put your video on my platform too? My response would have been, A, you can't pay me enough. B, no, I want it to work. It just doesn't. And I think for myself and other creators, we need to keep that in mind. You may be good on a platform, you may have really popular posts. You may have really popular images. You may have really popular GIFs. But you got to analyze the exact product you want. And in this case, it's video, long form or live video. Is that what the platform's good at? No. The other thing is, you got to remember that is not what the platform was ever built for or what the audience goes there for. And on that topic, I want to bring up something that a friend of mine, the Real Chappy TV, he for the Rise Above team, he showed us a video. He linked to it on YouTube. It's a guy named One Punch Dad. And this is a guy who is an active United States military member. He is a popular creator. He's got over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, millions of TikTok fans. The guy is very funny and entertaining. He posts short form videos on TikTok. That's kind of how he went big. And then he started posting them on YouTube Shorts. And then he tried posting long form video on YouTube He tried posting long form video on YouTube, and the audience just didn't really tune in. The interesting thing about his video was he put out what he says is his last short video on YouTube, but it was a long form. He said, I'm done with YouTube Shorts. He puts out this long form video that basically blames YouTube for the failure. He says that YouTube classified his channel as a shorts channel. And when he tried to release long form videos, they didn't get the audience. He was like, I've got 300,000 subscribers and I'm not getting what I would get on a short. Okay. Let me cover something just real quick. Okay. Let me go over some basics. First of all, yes, YouTube will learn about your channel. Okay. So YouTube will look at all of your content format and, little keywords and video type and category and all of those things. YouTube will learn about that as part of its algorithm to say, now that we understand you, we know the audience to show you to. Okay. YouTube does have, and they are upfront about this, is not a secret. They've talked about this publicly. The shorts audience is different from the long form audience. And that's easy to understand. If you are there to consume short form, rapid fire content, okay? Snap, snap, snaps. Somebody did something cool. All right. If you're there to consume short form content on a regular basis, like, because you got to remember, the YouTube algorithm isn't just learning about the creator, it's also learning about the viewer. If you've never uploaded anything in your life, YouTube is still learning about your account. YouTube is still learning about what you are interested in watching, and that includes format. So One Punch Dad is getting really frustrated. He's like, I built up this huge 300,000 subscriber audience on shorts, and now they won't watch my long form content. Right. Because YouTube's algorithm learned that your audience prefers shorts because that's what you gave them. It's not YouTube's fault. It's not your fault. It's not the audience's fault. There's literally nothing to blame here. Everything is working as intended, just not as you want it. And again, not your fault either. It's a transition. You have to teach the algorithm what you now do. You have to bring in a new audience or expand your short form audience. If you're not doing that, it's nobody's fault. Everything is doing what it's supposed to do, but you're the one making the change. And this is the same with X. X was built as short form, 140 character content creation. What literally, like, what is happening or whatever, what's on your mind? I forget which one. Facebook asked one question and Twitter asked another. I don't know. So it was built to do this. The audience on Twitter/X is not intended to be long form content creation. It is not intended to be sit on one post for 3 minutes or 3 hours or whatever. It's you're supposed to be scrolling. Read that, like it, retweet it, move on. Read that, like it, retweet it, move on. That's what it's built for. So I think Mr. Beast was both fair and accurate when he told Elon Musk, no, you can't pay me enough. So Elon Musk comes back. I guess that's the point of today. Elon Musk comes back and announces, not to Mr. Beast, but to the world, that creator incentives are going to drastically increase in 2024. Keep in mind, this is the same guy who also said that he was going to be deleting all of the inactive accounts. That hasn't happened. Okay. This is the guy who at his own Cybertruck demo said that the windows were unbreakable. He threw a baseball at it and it turns out they all broke. So Musk makes a lot of statements out into the world that don't necessarily have a basis in reality. I think he's in some sort of a VR, AR, XR metaverse. Musk also said that he would fight Mark Zuckerberg. Didn't happen because he backed out. So this is a guy who blusters a lot. And he said that incentives are going to expand. It doesn't matter. If he increases incentives for creators, if he says, you need to post videos here, you need to post, more shorts here, whatever the hell he's going to call them, Twitter briefs. Oh my God, he would so do that. He would so call them briefs just to make the underwear pun. Oh, write it down. Jug said on January 13th, 2024, that Elon Musk will call them briefs. I'm going to be so right. Okay. Even if he does that, he can do all the incentives he wants. It doesn't matter if you can't see them. It doesn't matter because you're going to offer to pay people and then say, well, you're not getting a lot of views. And it's like, yeah, I'm not getting views because your stuff sucks. So increase the incentives all you want. It still has to work. It's like saying, I'll pay you $10 for every Stanley Cup you sell. If there's no quantity, then how do I sell anything? So $10 per cup. If I can't sell a cup, who cares? Like it's just, okay. Anyways. So that's what's going on there. Elon Musk has made a promise about X. I don't think it's going to come to fruition to any meaningful end because long form video on X is not what the audience is there for. And his hardware can't seem to run it. That's all I'm saying. And forget live broadcast. That's a nightmare. That's terrible. What else we got? Okay. So our final topic. This is one. And if you're in chat, you are welcome to comment on this. I will actively read chat during the segment. We are going to be talking about something that just happened recently. It was the Dudesy AI broadcast of George Carlin. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there is a channel called Dudesy. It is an AI-based channel, and it creates content. How do I put it? Based on celebrities. I think that's a fair way to describe it. So what happened was this. Channel posts this video. It's a, quote, 1-hour comedy special by George Carlin. For those who don't know, George Carlin is dead. George Carlin was one of the most revolutionary, innovative, funny comedians to come out of the last 100 years of comedy. George Carlin is the one who gave us the seven words that you can't say on TV. George Carlin is known for his atheism. George Carlin is known for his sort of dark humor. I'm not going to say he's not making jokes about bubbles. Okay. George Carlin was amazing. And what they did with the AI was this. They fed all of Carlin's material into an AI machine to learn about his delivery, his sound. They had to generate George Carlin's voice. And then they created this comedy special, and I'm using huge air quotes, comedy special. Okay. They broadcast it and they're like, this is so cool. George Carlin, everybody. Now I must disclose something. Okay. Oh God, did it close the link? Oh shit. Hold on. No, there it is. I found it. Okay. So here's the deal. This was like an introductory statement from Dudesy, from the channel, before the thing went live. Okay. Quote, I just want to let you know very clearly that what you are about to hear is not George Carlin. It is my impersonation of George Carlin that I developed in the exact same way a human impressionist would. Because the idea behind Dudesy is that it's an AI character. It's my impersonation of George Carlin that I developed in the exact same way a human impressionist would. I listened to all of George Carlin's material and did my best to imitate his voice, cadence, and attitude. Think of it like Andy Kaufman impersonating Elvis or like Will Ferrell impersonating George W. Bush. I hated this more before I heard that statement. When I listened to the actual broadcast, I still wasn't comfortable with it, but I understood the art of it, and I'm going to use that term loosely as well. I understood a little bit better about how this can be similar to a human impressionist. The line is pretty gray between it. But now that I've read you what basically the disclaimer from the Dudesy AI channel, and I'm not going to call it a person, it's a channel. I want to read you what Carlin's daughter said. Okay. This is Kelly Carlin. This is George's daughter. Quote, my statement regarding the AI generated George Carlin special. My dad spent a lifetime perfecting his craft from his very human life, brain, and imagination. No machine will ever replace his genius. These AI-generated products are clever attempts at trying to recreate a mind that will never exist again. Let's let the artist's work speak for itself. Humans are so afraid of the void that we can't let what has fallen into it stay there. Here's an idea. How about we give some actual living human comedians a listen to? But if you want to listen to the genuine George Carlin, he has 14 specials that you can find anywhere. I don't think she's wrong either. Maybe that's just me. Some people have come out on her side. Some people have come out on Dudesy's side and in the side of AI. I'm not sure either of them are wrong. I think they're looking at the same picture with two different perspectives, and like art, it's okay to have differing opinions. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like the idea of AI for the dead. Now, Dudesy did a thing previously where they did a whole thing with Tom Brady. They did a Tom Brady thing. Tom Brady's alive. If Tom Brady objected, Tom Brady can exercise legal options or simply send a letter and be like, hey, I'm not comfortable with you impersonating me. Please stop doing it. That happens with artists all the time. I mean, like, anyways, so I'm not sure either of them are wrong, but I think it's a very slippery slope where we're using what will be very easily available technology through artificial intelligence. I think that tech is going to become so prevalent, it does pose a danger to putting words in the mouths of the dead. And they don't have a way to defend themselves. Carlin's daughter can defend him to a degree, but George Carlin can't defend himself. George Carlin can't say, don't do this. I think the other part that disappoints me about this whole thing is I'm a Carlin fan. I think that, like I said, Carlin was a comedic genius. It doesn't matter. There were things I disagreed with George Carlin on. I don't think he would appreciate that. I don't think he would find this a tribute. I think Carlin would object to this. Carlin was not a huge fan of replacing humanity with technology. Carlin was really about people. And he wasn't a fan of them, but he was about people. He was about the human experience. I don't think he would like to be replaced by AI or impersonated by AI. He might find some flattery. He might find some compliment in having, a Will Ferrell impersonate him or something like that, or Ricky Gervais give him some sort of an impersonation tribute or something. I don't think he would like AI. But he's not here to tell us. So I don't think it's right that we use this for something other than maybe vocalization studies, cadence study. Like Dudesy said, I listened to all of George Carlin's material and did my best to imitate his voice, cadence, and attitude. I think we could use AI for the dead and with the dead to create studies of it, to learn from it. But I think it's dangerous when we recreate it for the purposes of recreating it. When we see a Tupac hologram or a Whitney Houston hologram, first of all, it's a hologram. We know it's not them. Second of all, we still know they're dead. How many people are going to be able to take clips from this Carlin piece and say it's him? How would you know the difference if you're not? I will tell you, I listened to this thing. I'm a Carlin fan. I could tell it wasn't George Carlin. It was really damn good. I'm not taking away from the quality of it, but it wasn't George Carlin. There were slight inflections and vocalizations and cadence things that when you hear it versus a real George Carlin clip, you can tell it's not George. But it's really good. It's really, really good at getting close. That's my concern, is it's going to get better. And how will somebody take a clip of that and be like, see, George Carlin said this, when George Carlin clearly didn't say that? I can't even say the word clearly. Carlin didn't say it. Let's forget that it's clearly, because it's not clear. It's not clear that Carlin didn't say it because it sounds just like George Carlin. That's my concern. I think we run into this place where we are wanting to, we want the past back. And I think that says a lot about the current and the future. Why are we so clingy towards things that are gone? If we were coming up with better new stuff, we wouldn't really need it. We wouldn't really want it. Why do we need a Final Fantasy 16? Are there not enough new games to take our attention away? Why do we need Scream 6? Why do we need Halloween 12 or whatever the hell they're up to? Like, why do we have to keep grabbing things from the past instead of, and I'm not saying that tradition is bad. I'm not saying that longevity is bad. I'm not saying that legacy is bad. I'm simply saying we seem to be grabbing for sequels and recreations and holograms and AI inspired things from dead people instead of creating new. Why do we need to go back to George Carlin? Why can't we just listen? Like Kelly Carlin said, how about we give some actual living human comedians a listen to? Why don't we go find somebody who was inspired by Carlin and has that it covers those topics about religion and society and technology and just, like I said, human experience. Go find those comedians and give them a listen instead of spending an hour listening to this. That's where I think my disappointment comes in. There's a danger to it, yes, but there's also a disappointment in we're focusing on things that are nostalgic instead of using them to make the future better. This doesn't make the future better. You can do this you can use this for better purposes. I'll put it that way. And I think that's where we should use the technology, but I'm not sitting on some AI council of, arbiters that says this is what we must and must not do. I just hope that those are the things we do because, again, the dead can't defend themselves. Carland can't tell us how much he doesn't like this. So a channel like Dudesy gets to make it, and that's tough. Figure out how you're going to use AI. Figure out how it will impact your life. Figure out if you're going to buy a dog collar that does, God knows what the dog collar does at CES. I don't know. Sit on a plane that has all the bolts in it. Make sure all the bolts are in. Do these wonderful things, and hopefully you don't get laid off from your big tech job because it's a very tough environment out there right now. So let's all go into the world better. Again, I hope you have a great weekend if you are listening to this live or on the VOD on YouTube. And if you are listening on Spotify or iHeart or iTunes or anywhere else, I hope you have yourself a great week. And I will see you, I think, next Friday. See ya.